Dobrý den, vítejte na mém kanále Czech by Zuzka, kde vám pomocí angličtiny vysvětluju českou gramatiku. In today's video we're going to have a look at grammar and vocabulary used in context. I am going to read a little anecdote, a little story from this book. It's a story that happened in Prague. But first I'm going to give you a little background information about this story. Jdeme na to. Tento příběh se odehrává v tramvaji, je v něm řidič, nějací lidé a slečna, mladá slečna. This story takes place on a tram. There is a conductor, a tram conductor, some people and a young lady. Příběh vypráví Radim a jmenuje se Závada. Poslouchejte. Z praxe řidiče tramvaje. Jdu říci lidem, že tramvaj před námi má závadu a čekáme, než přijede rychlá rota. Říkám hezké slečně, že tramvaj před námi má závadu a že nevím, za jak dlouho pojedu. V tu ránu mě uzemní otázkou. A ta za vámi? A teď jdeme na překlad. Závada. Závada means a problem, but more of a technical problem. A defect. Z praxe řidiče tramvaje. Praxe means practice or experience, professional experience. So from the experience of the driver of the tram, when you translate it literally. Funny thing is, when you say it in English, you would actually go the other way around. From a tram driver's experience. Jdu říci lidem, že tramvaj před námi má závadu. Jdu říci lidem, říci is the same way as říct, but it is a little bit more archaic. I will speak about it later. I'm going to tell the people, the passengers in this case, that the tram in front of us has a defect, has a problem. A čekáme, než přijede rychlá rota. A čekáme, we're waiting, before or until. Rychlá rota means rescue rangers, referring to the American cartoon. So before the rescue rangers arrive. We could just say we are waiting for the rescue rangers, but notice that we use this conjunction než, which would also mean before something happens. Říkám hezké slečně, I'm telling a pretty lady, že tramvaj před námi má závadu. This is basically the same what he mentioned before. That the tram in front of us has a problem. A že nevím, za jak dlouho pojedu. And that I don't know, za jak dlouho means in how much time, like in how long. In how much time or when I will drive again before we continue the journey. But he's referring to himself because he's the conductor, so before he will continue the journey. This is a common question. You could ask a driver on a bus or a tram that's just waiting there. The vehicle is stopped. You could ask, za jak dlouho pojedete? When are you gonna leave? Literally, in how much time will you drive? Will you ride? I don't know how long it will take before we can continue the journey. Something like that. V tu ránu mě uzemní otázkou. V tu ránu means at that instant, means something happened quickly at that instant. Rána, as you might recall, is a hit. So at that hit, literally, but it means at that instant. Uzemní mě otázkou. Uzemnit means to floor somebody, to really surprise somebody. So she surprised me, she floors me by her question. A ta za vámi, and the one behind you. The story started by the words z praxe, z praxe. This is obviously a loan word. Ta praxe, it's feminine, and it means practice or experience. And we use this quite a lot in Czech, especially when we want to say, from my experience, I know, and we refer to a professional experience or personal experience. Z praxe vím. From my experience, I know that. Z praxe řidiče tramvaje. From the experience of a tram driver. Sometimes it can be replaced by a Czech word, which is zkušenost. Zkušenost also means experience, But when we speak about a professional experience, we prefer this word, praxe. Both are feminine, by the way. Ta praxe, ta zkušenost. This person decided to use a very interesting form of infinitive. Jdu říci lidem. Říci is an archaic or very formal infinitive in Czech. The original verb is říct. But before, in the last century still, maybe until the 60s, 70s of the last century, it was quite common to write with these types of endings. For example, instead of mluvit, you would say mluviti, you would add I, or dělati instead of dělat, or those infinitives that now end in C and T. T would be replaced by I. So moct, to be able to, would be moci. Závada was translated as a problem, but it also means a defect. You cannot use this word závada anytime you want to say a problem, because a problem in English has a very wide meaning. Závada means a technical problem, a defect, malfunction. Tramvaj má závadu. Tiskárna má závadu. A printer has a defect. Or if you want to say we're experiencing technical difficulties, máme technické problémy or máme závadu. Rychlá rota is a reference to an American cartoon, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, maybe you know that. It was also popular in the Czech Republic and it was dubbed in Czech and it was called Chip a Dale rychlá rota. So we also use this reference, rychlá rota, the fast rescuers, the fast company. Rescue Rangers. V tu ránu mě uzemní otázkou. Uzemnit, it's a perfective verb. Uzemní mě, and it means to floor, where you are surprised by something, or you are also knocked down by a punch, for example. You would use this verb, uzemnit, because it comes from the noun země, which means ground. So when somebody puts you to the ground physically or figuratively by something they say. Uzemnit otázkou. She puts me down, she floors me by her question. This is in the instrumental case. Otázkou. By what? And one more thing that I would like to mention is v tu ránu. V tu ránu means at that moment. It's a nice way of expressing v ten moment, v té chvíli. But v tu ránu means that it's all of a sudden, like at that moment, it happens very quickly. V tu ránu. You might remember the word rána from a story before, which means a hit or a bang. V tu ránu means at that hit. It implies that it happened quickly. For example, řekl mi své jméno a v tu ránu jsem ho zapomněla. He told me his name and right at that moment I forgot it. V tu ránu jsem ho zapomněla. If you enjoyed learning this way, you can find 14 more stories just like this in my new video course, which is called When Czech Stories Are Never Better. Number 2. Last year around this time I published the first part of this story with the same name, and this year I chose another 15 stories and I also improved the quality of the course. The great news is that this course is on discount. For a whole month starting today, there is a 30% discount for When Czech Stories Are Never Better 2. Budu se na vás těšit. I'll be looking forward to seeing you there. Ahoj!